Hey, I think we're live. Just sitting here thinking, kind of weird, huh? How do you like my new camera? You can see all the spots on the top of my burned bald head, huh? Okay, well, hey, I'm Burt Middleton, the Gout Killer, and I really appreciate that you are here with me. Um, all of my clocks say something different. My computer says 7:01. My clock on the wall says 7:03. So I know we got a few people tuning in here. So thank you very much for being here with me today on this Google Hangout. We are talking about, it says right chair. Could better posture help with gout? Okay, so I think I've told you before, I'm kind of a gout geek, um, a gout freak. I'm always geeking out about nutrition and what's going on with our bodies, why we all kind of get to the point of having all of these difficulties in so many different ways. And you and I might have gout in common, but you might also have diabetes, heart disease. I managed around the same time that I got gout to end up with a thyroid condition. And there are so many different things that play into what's going on with gout and how and what brings it on and what we can do about it. And so, interestingly enough, I moved my office in here. This is the Denver area, actually, specifically. This is Centennial, is where I'm at. It's kind of on the south side of the Denver metro, and a little bit really close to what's called the DTC, the Denver Tech Center. And I've moved in with a health and wellness company. They're called Keystone Health and Wellness, and they do chiropractic. We have a nurse practitioner that can do trigger point injections and much more. We also have a lot of different massage modalities and physical therapy. And as I understand, there is going to be a naturopath doctor that is going to be joining the team, and probably more as the years go on. And this is one of two Keystone offices. It's the one in Centennial, but there's also the first one they started was actually in downtown Denver. And I believe it's at 721 17th Street, I think is the address. So if you're looking for chiropractic, or if you're looking to get out of pain, if you're finding yourself compromised and having a difficult time, what they specialize helping people who have ended up sitting too much, which I, for the last 6 years, have been sitting way too much and trying to do all of this gout killer stuff. So, I'm bringing you all this information, but after all the skiing and biking and all the crazy athletic stuff that I've done in my 56 years, the worst injury that I've sustained is this whole sciatica problem that I've been able to make a lot of progress on because of the chiropractic work that I got done, that I've been able to take advantage of here at Keystone. And that's kind of what led me into wanting to talk about posture. And so there are so many different things about what happens to our bodies that ends up resulting in all of these different kinds of chronic diseases. And gout is definitely one of those chronic diseases. We end up with, we get one gout attack and think it's never going to happen again. And then we get another one and another one and another one and another one. And then finally we kind of go, wow, man, this isn't going to go away. And if I don't start paying attention, then, I'm going to keep getting these things and it hurts like hell. And besides that, it just messes up my life. I don't know about you, but it always freaked me out to think I was going to miss a really good deep powder day on my skis because of a gout attack. And that has never happened. knock on wood. So, I'm doing something right. But, after 13 years of dealing with this, then 6 years ago, I started this whole gout killer thing, and I've been able to stay gout free for 6 years. Not like, there haven't been times that I've thought, wow, man, I'm kind of pushing it here and I'm getting close. And what's that little twinge? And I think you know what I mean. It's like any little feeling you feel in your foot or anywhere else, and you think, oh my God, here it comes again. But what I wanted to relate to you is you may or may not know that I have this video-based program that I call Kill Your Gout for Good. And I go through several aspects of kind of like what I consider a very holistic approach to preventing gout and being able to manage and control and stay out of the gout zone. And it's worked for me. And I've had tons and tons of people who have written me and emailed me and called me and thanked me because I've been able to put out some really good information that has helped them and helped them stay gout free for years at a time. So, where I start is like most of the time, everybody wants to know, I ate something, I ate the wrong thing, and now I've got gout. Well, that's only partly true because I just did the gout phone call a few minutes ago, and we talked a lot about, I kind of rambled on and on about how well we digest and how well we break down the proteins. And that's kind of the first half of what goes on in our bodies biochemically to create gout. But in my program, in my video-based program, Kill Your Gout for Good, I don't start with food. I actually start with air and the way we breathe and even kind of like what's in our air. But more importantly, the process of breathing and our respiration is actually how we keep our blood oxygen saturation up into the kind of levels that it needs to be. And I got this whole idea from Burton Abrams, who, he's got a lot of stuff out there on the internet talking about gout and sleep apnea. Well, I think in a general sense, we just don't breathe that well in the first place. And so, guess what? When we're sitting at computers all day, kind of all slunched over, like we all do, then our posture sucks and we can't get big, full breaths of air. And then a few months, years, and decades of that. And then when it comes to the way that we have trained ourselves to breathe and the shape of our bodies, just doesn't allow for really good blood oxygen saturation. And that is a big reason why we end up getting gout. And that is what I think these guys, Dr. Dean Jones here at Keystone Health and Wellness, he actually has helped to realign my spine, even though I have a severe scoliosis, and open my chest up and make it so that I can breathe much, much better. And they even go into some different tips and tricks. You could go to their Facebook page. I think it's just Keystone Health and Wellness on Facebook, and they've got some videos there about what you need to do about your shoes, about the way that you sleep. They've got some specific things to do. They've got some specific ideas about what you need to do for your shoes, and you also there is also the way that you sit at your computers. And so, like, there is this wedge that I sit on. And also, I keep my monitors up real high. I keep my chair so that my knees are lower than my hips. And this whole process kind of tilts me back up and keeps me much more vertical and keeps me breathing better. Okay, so that in and of itself is something that I think helps to prevent gout. And it keeps you from getting so much sciatica and all kinds of other postural problems. But posture is like the first thing. It helps in keeping our blood oxygen saturation to the right, where it's supposed to be. And that in and of itself is probably that's where I start with helping people with gout. So just wanted to throw that piece of it out there to begin with. But once your alignment, I've learned this from Dr. Jones and kind of hanging out with these guys, is that once your alignment starts to go, I mean, your spine gets all twisted up and weird things happen. Okay. And as you know, there is the spinal cord that runs down the center of our spine, and then all the nerves branch out of that thing, out of these little holes. So what do you think happens to those little holes, when everything's all twisted around and you're bunched all forward? And that's the way, when we get old, we end up all hunched over forward, and all of that spinal cord gets stretched. The holes and the way that all the nerves come out of there get messed up, and those nerve signals get messed up because things start to get pinched and screwed up. And so those nerves send all kinds of information back to the brain, and from the brain to our liver, kidneys, heart, to our stomachs, to our small intestine, to our large intestine, to all of our various glands and other organs like the gallbladder and the pancreas. A whole hormonal orchestration of how to get the nutrients out of our food. So I mean, that's one piece of this whole thing. The way that the nerves go to our livers. Okay. And the biggest job of our liver is to be the biggest job of the liver is to do detoxification, and that happens between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay. I mean, the liver does so many different things while we're standing up, balancing, thinking, dealing, emoting, all of these things. So all of the detoxification that happens from the stuff we breathe, the stuff we eat, the stuff that goes right through our skin, okay, that all happens when everything else is shut down. And that's like in the dead of night, in the middle of the night when we're asleep. So the nerve signaling that goes to our liver, if that's impaired, we're not going to detox very well. We're not going to make good bile. We're not going to break down our fats very well. We don't break down our fats very well. And then when the fats don't get broken down very well, it messes up our whole hormonal balance. And our whole hormonal balance, while there are several different steroid hormones like cortisol ends up making cholesterol, there is all of our sex hormones, aldosterone, pregnenolone. There's so much to the whole hormonal thing, but relatively speaking, where things become hormonally imbalanced has everything to do with the adrenal glands. Okay. And so we end up getting our adrenal glands all whacked out. And then cortisol takes over. It messes up the way that we regulate our blood sugar. We end up then getting blood sugar, we end up moving in the direction of diabetes. Diabetes kind of cascades into kidney problems. Gout is all about kidneys. So what I'm trying to say here is we can end up with poor posture, and that poor posture can lead to toxic buildup. It can lead to all kinds of hormonal imbalances. You, me, and everybody else, we've fallen down, we've fell on our skis, we've gotten in car wrecks, we've, weird stuff has happened, and we have all this weird undetected damage that messes up the way that our spine is aligned. So there's all the undetected damage, and then kind of back to where I was. What ends up happening all too often is that we have this poor nerve signaling that goes to our whole gastrointestinal tract, and that ends up just messing up the way that we get the nutrients out of the really good food we eat. We eat really good food, right? So we end up with all kinds of nutritional deficiencies and imbalances. So the bottom line is, The way that your spine is aligned, the way that you sit in your chair, the way that you stand, the way that your posture is working in general can have an enormous effect on what is going on with your health overall. And that can be, and whether you get gout or not can be a huge part of that. So that's why I wanted to do this Google Hangout and just kind of put a plug in there about needing to take advantage in a very methodical and maintenance kind of way, um, taking advantage of chiropractic work. And just one more little piece about that, the type of chiropractic that they do here at Keystone is called advanced biostructural correction. And as I have come to find out, there are over 300 different types of chiropractic, and most of them are very sort of like allopathic in nature. They move some bones around to relieve pain, but they don't really realign and correct alignment and posture. ABC does. Advanced biostructural correction does. So if you're in the Denver area, Keystone is the place to go. If you're somewhere else, if you Google advanced biostructural correction chiropractors, they have a whole big network, and I would highly recommend you go out there and find yourself an ABC doc. So that's all I've got for you tonight about why posture, why you need to be concerned about your posture. It's part of staying healthy, a really big part of staying healthy. So take advantage of it as much as you can and make sure that you're doing ABC. So thank you very much. And oh yeah, so it's Tuesday night, and I'll be back to Wednesdays. The Gout phone call next Wednesday evening. I forget. I think I already figured out what I'm going to say, but I mean, what the topic is going to be, but I forget at the moment. And then it will be 2 weeks from tomorrow. I believe it's April 22nd that we'll be doing the next Google Hangout. And that Sunday, April 26th, 1 p.m. at the Natural Grocers location, Colorado and Evans here in Denver, I am doing another gout seminar, a gout talk, and that gout talk is going to be, it's titled Gout Fighters. Reducing inflammation with foods. So I got a bunch of really good stuff. I've already prepared that talk, and I'm going to be finalizing it here over the next week, but I'm going to have some really good stuff for you. So please do join me. And I want to thank you once again for being here tonight and or watching the replay. So thank you very much, and talk to you soon. Thanks.